Hello there. 2024 was an incredible year for me and most of us as well. And today, I will tell you what really happened in 2024, including the most important days as well, which was a huge year in my life. January. At my job, I managed to switch from 6 hours to 8 hours, which is one of my biggest success in this year. February. There were multiple huge demonstrations at the time in my country and events. And I went to Italy and Vatican with tons of beautiful buildings and tons of surprises. I loved it. And of course my first flying by myself. March. In this month, however, I went to Serbia with my dad, and our Flixbus just collected over 4 hours delay. On Belgrade, however, we found enough old vehicles and even surviving the next day. Around the end of this month, I went on a photo ride which took place on the Children's Railway and had 3 retro locomotives, and we could ride them from anywhere. April. This month, I discovered many nostalgic locomotives, carriages and trams, and even a steam locomotive workshop. This was also good and full of ham, candies, and of course the cat. And a big birthday party too. May. Me and my grandmother all went to Debrecen to try out this small railway, which is a pretty fantastic trip. Around the end of this month, I went to Montenegro. Unfortunately, I didn't have a passport at the time, but luckily I got passed by the security. Because the ID card is nearly accepted, especially for this day. And also the fastest country trip ever in my life, without Wi-Fi areas or any internet. And then I slept when I got home. And tons of retro buses in this month. June. On the first day of this month, I traveled on a retro ET train to Lake Balaton with old cars with it. On the 8th of June, I went to Felsőtakány village and tried out this small railway, which is pretty nice. On 21st of June, it was the saddest day of the year, but maybe 10% of my life. BKW renovated my favorite retro vehicle of my life, on the subway with track number 34, the only subway with original doors. In my opinion, this was a huge mistake. It would have been enough to just repair its parts and leave its original condition. On 23rd of June, I went to biggest beach, which is located on Hajdúszoboszló, with lots of water slides and pools with it. And the rest of them is nostalgic stuff. July. On the 6th and 7th day, I went to northern lakeshore of Lake Balaton and enjoying the retro trails with German retro cars, including my friends with it. After this adventure, I went to my summer camp with tons of luggages. Talking about my camp, however, at the beginning it went very badly, and the first time though for changing a room. At the last day, everything got changed, and I bought everything. And the temperature were high at that week. On 13th of June, I tried many Icarus buses on the evening of the chairlifts. And the next day though, the parade of steam locomotives, including 2 Czech steam locomotives with it. At the end of this month, me and my dad all went to Romania on the capital of Bucharest, which was a very long day. August. On 10th of August, I went to Sziget Festival with one person and seeing the stages, places, and of course me. On the next day though, I went to Balatonalma, the beach, and back in home however, celebrating someone's 50th birthday. Between 18th to 19th of August, I went to Debrecen again because the next retro train event was held on Debrecen with different locomotives with it and more new places with it. On the next day, fireworks were held across the country. The storm eventually almost ripped off the event, but thankfully it went to different areas, which was a miracle day indeed. On the last day of summer, me and my grandmother all went to Balatonfenyves and enjoying quite everything. September. On the first weekend of this month, I tried out this rare OV tram, especially the middle car. On the second weekend, I tried out this steam locomotive. And of course, the birthday of these locomotives. In the next day, however, I went to Békéscsaba and enjoying more retro trains, including busy mod trains. On the rest of this month, more retro trolley buses and birthday parties. October. On the first weekend of this month, I went to Poland, on Warsaw as well. And I enjoyed every moment of it, and their delicious cuisine with it. After this country, when I returned to Hungary, I joined the iCruise Bus Festival with over 100 iCruise buses. Talking about work, I had the hardest days of this month. Like I was shouted multiple times and even had to switch one friend. I also had 2 Halloween parties at this month. One is for adults, including my family, and one is for my former classmates, and both of them are successful. On 23rd to 24th of October, me and my dad all went to Germany, on Berlin, and enjoying this Stranglers concert and walking the whole city, and enjoying almost everything, including this Halloween in this month. November. In this month, I almost got a girlfriend at work, but unfortunately she didn't want to go out with me because I wasn't nice enough for her, or she didn't want to go out with me. I took her to a few good places. Apart from that, nothing interesting happened. I was just getting ready for this year Advent, the gifts with it. December. In the last month of this year, I hunted more festival surprises, places, and even buying some Advent decorations, including candies. On the second weekend of this month, I went to Switzerland with train. The Euronight train was quite a nightmare, but the Railjet Express on daylight is better. On Switzerland, however, in Zurich, though, everything is well decorated with 3 mini chocolates. Expect the snow because the weather is given rains instead of Advent feelings. At least I had fun. On 21st of December, I had the best day in history of retro railways because I traveled with 6 no-hub locomotives with 9 nostalgic restaurant cars with it on the whole area of Lake Balaton. Unbelievable. On Christmas, however, it came weaker this year. The gift was perfect, but some of my family members got sick at the time, and missing my giant cat with it. On the last day of this year, I haven't slept well due my rewind editing, earlier working, and even carrying tons of snacks to my friends when the party was held, without taxis or buses on that area. Although it was a nice party at the end. In conclusion, 2024 is the strongest and hardest year in my life, with tons of countries, places, decorating, restless days, and even happening a lot. Although there were huge ones and I barely had the time to rest. But I gave it my all and participated in a lot of programs, and I made great progress with the holidays. My rate for this year is 8 out of 10. Will there be a harder year than this? Unfortunately, it will be. So let's prepare ourselves, and so I will I. And that's how of 2024.